Bit. So, family, I made a video concerning this specific subject. The last time I posted. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I feel like it's a great video. Just kind of like giving a perspective about how the church feels like about the CRL and about kind of like how I was feeling about the CRL a little bit. But now, this video, like the title says, what is actually the CRL? And what impact that can it have on the Christian community? Let's break it down. Let's get deeper about what the CRL really actually is. So I wanted us to just get down and break down the concerns surrounding the CRL Rights Commission's Section 22 committee and its potential impact on the Christian church in South Africa, right? Because it has, this thing is not no game, guys. This thing is not no something we can just speak about a little bit and then just pass. No, this thing is a real thing. It can actually have real bad consequences in the future if the Christian community, if the Christian church is not gonna, you know, do something or do anything about, or if we're not going to have conversations like this, if we just act all ignorant about it, this thing, the CRL Rights Commission, it can actually be very bad for us in the future. Me and my friend Ayanda, shout out to Ayanda, she helped me with this video or with the planning of this video, and we wrote down, or she wrote down, a couple of questions that somebody might have concerning the CRL, and I want us to dive into it. So the first question is, why is the CRL Section 22 committee considered a bad idea? Like, how can it be a bad idea? Here's the thing. The committee's establishment has sparked controversy due to the concerns over the state regulation of religion, which could undermine the constitutional right to freedom of religion. Very important. Critics argue that this move could lead to government control over the church, compromising its autonomy and integrity. So basically, like, it's deep because letting this through, right? Yeah, this is a bad idea because it kind of like strip you as the Christian. It kind of like strip you from like the freedom that you have in doing what you do in church, right? It's like they gonna like regulate, they gonna have a control of what time you can go to church and what time you can leave. What can be said in the churches, what can be done in the churches. The control that this can have over the church is actually mad if you think about it. So, and the second question here is, how does the South African Constitution protect citizens from such policies, right? The Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, protecting citizens from state imposed regulation that could infringe on their right to practice their faith. Section 15 of the Constitution ensures that everyone has the right to freedom of conscience, religion, thought, and belief. Like I said on the previous video, why is the Christian church being the one attacked? Like, from what angle is it? Right? Because we have a right to believe in what we believe in. Think about it, guys. Are they trying to regulate the Christian church, the Jesus Christ believing church, the Holy Spirit driven church? Are they trying to regulate it because of the corruption in the church? Or they trying to regulate it because we say we hear from God?
Let's educate our people that no one talks to God. Let's just put it as bluntly as all that.
Even the reasoning behind the regulation, why they want to regulate, it's not even consistent, right? So which one is it? Is it because we are hearing from God, or is it because of the corruption in the church? Approach it directly, right? Because if we're saying we hear from God, how come we are being called crazy? Why can people say they hear from their dead ancestors, but a person says they hear from God who is living? that's considered being crazy? Why are the ones that are saying they're hearing from dead people, why are those not being called crazy, but those that say they hear from a living God are being called crazy? Is their belief. They are not attacking the people that hearing from dead people because it's their belief. They have a right to believe in whatever they believe in. Why is then our rights as Christians not being protected like they're protecting other people's rights and their beliefs? Next question is the committee biased towards the Christian church? Yes, critics argue that the committee's focus on regulating the Christian church while ignoring other faiths demonstrates bias, which I agree with that. The CRL past actions and statements have raised concerns about its impartiality, particularly given its previous calls for state regulation of religion. Is the CRL biased? Yes, they are. Guys, we can see it. Sangomas are not getting attacked. They're not even speaking on it. Muslims are they asked Miss Ulu, Miss Tola, a question about the Muslim, about the Islam. She literally just, I'll just play a clip.
What about sangomas and their finances? Why don't you regulate that? Was Islam also grilled? All religions the same? You know, is this an attack on just the churches? Did you look at sangomas? Did you look at Islam?
We looked at Islam, we look at the Jewish religion as well, and to look at what systems they have in place. The issue of traditional healers, we're very firm on it. We've had serious complaints about people who've been asked to cash their pensions and to give it to them. They're going to multiply it by 10 and then they disappear with the money. And
How
you
are you
look
going
at
to regulate
newspapers.
that? What are you proposing for them?
We're proposing clampdown of adverts. That's how they get to people. They get to people by promising them all those things you see in the adverts. So our energies are focused on cutting the cord. Once you need word of mouth adverts, you'll go back to the old system that we knew about traditional healers. That you'll be told by someone, hey, that healer is very good, I went there.
The main focus, the focus is on the Christian church. So that is bias. That is an attack to the Christian church. And why is that? Why do y'all think is that? Why do y'all think the primary focus of this whole thing, that people are crazy because they hear? Why is it like focused on the Christian church, the Jesus Christ church? Why is that? Just think about that. Answer that in yourself. The next question is, what are the potential consequences of this committee's actions? I'm gonna give you three. I'm gonna give you 3 points. Right. The first point is restricting religious freedom. Number two, state control. Number three, lack of trust. So let's break it down. Restricting religious freedom, right? The committee's recommendations could lead to legislation that restricts the church's ability to practice its faith, potentially violating constitutional rights. Number two, state control. Government oversight could compromise the church's autonomy, allowing the state to dictate its doctrine and practices. What makes the church is going to be taken away, family, right? Number three is the lack of trust. The committee's perceived bias and lack of transparency may erode trust between the church and the CRL, making it challenging to address genuine concerns. Like, we got to speak about trust because the members in the CRL are not even Christians. The members in the CRL don't even understand the faith that they're trying to regulate. So obviously, how is that going to work? The people that's trying to regulate the church don't even understand what the church is and why the church is even important, right? They don't understand the God of the church. You know what I mean? And I think that's what people don't get. And then we have this Professor Musa Kulu, that I thought, actually, when I was doing my research, that I thought was an expert in faith and Christianity, right? And he's also part of the Section 22 committee, right? That, oh, I thought you were an expert. I thought an expert is somebody that knows about what they're speaking about. He's part of the people that says you can't hear from God. What kind of expert is that? I thought faith I thought your faith, because you're an expert in it, I thought faith teaches us that we hear God, we know God, we meet God for ourselves, especially in Christianity, right? You know, I'm gonna just read one of his quotes. He says, Professor Ulu described the initiative as proactive, seeking to avoid disasters and help the Christian faith to retain its dignity, right? The initiative, meaning this RCL committee. You know what will help the Christian faith? You guys just doing the job y'all supposed to do, dealing with the criminals that y'all supposed to deal with, and just leaving the church the way it is.